I'm your host, Kelly Morgan, indie author and indie publisher. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. Welcome to today's episode. Hey everybody, Kelly here. Welcome to another episode of The Author's Mic. And as you know, it's Monday because I'm not by myself. I have a guest. I am here with Cecily Holland. She has written a book. She is I'm thinking, a first-time author. And I'm so glad that she's decided to come and share her journey with us on The Author's Mic. Welcome.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. So I love it when people decide to come on the show and share their journey about, being an author and how they got there. And so I've got to ask you, you've got this book, The Daily Pain, right? And it's more, it seems like a journal. Looks like it's nonfiction, right? And so tell me how you actually went about writing this book, and then how did you go about publishing this book?
Okay, so yes, the daily pain, my journey with anxiety and depression through faith. It's actually a brief memoir about me. So it is nonfiction. It's something that was placed on my heart by the Lord years ago, where He told me I would write a book discussing my personal struggles with anxiety and depression. And at first, I was like, "You want me to write a book?" I mean, because you know how we are about our personal business. Like, why would I tell that with the world? Why would I share that with the world? And I heard, well, people need to hear your story. People need to know that for those who are suffering with anxiety and depression, that there are other people out there, maybe who look like you or maybe do not look like you. And when I say people who look like me, I mean African American people or people of different ethnic backgrounds. Because, in the African American community, mental health is still not discussed as much as it could or should be. And so basically, I decided to write the book. I completed the task in November of this year. It was published November 4th of 2025 of this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. And I just wanted to let people know through my transparency, I'm trying to help somebody else. So I'm hoping by me sharing my story will let people know that it's okay to get counseling. It's okay to go see a therapist. It's okay if you're having these down and depressed and anxious thoughts, but the goal is simply not to stay there. It's to get up out of there. And I talk about how having a village is important in the book, how I also give some resources about trying a different therapist until you find the right therapist fit for you in the book, which may mean seeing one or a certain therapist until you're able to see the therapist you really want to see. And I give people a little glimpse or insight into my childhood years as well. So during my adolescent years is when I found out that I had an issue or a health issue with anxiety and depression. And it's something I've struggled with the past 30, around 30 years. But by the grace of God, I'm still here. And I believe that God kept me here to share my story and be a testimony and a living witness for other people and let them know that if I can make it, you too can make it. You just have to utilize your resources. You have to ask for help. You have to go and get help. And you have to be open to receiving treatment.
That is a huge lift for a lot of people, right? I mean, you are really out here putting yourself, your situation, your story on the pages for others to read and hopefully learn and take away from, right? And then maybe they can relate and make their situation better. So, how did you go about publishing the book? Did you self-publish?
I published through a company called Palmetto Publishing. I'm looking at it in Charleston, South Carolina. And so basically, what I did, Kelly, is I Googled different publishers and I reached out to different ones to get an idea of how they operate. What's your process? What does your process look like with publishing? And so I decided to go with Palmetto. I prayed on it. And I felt most comfortable with Palmetto because I realized this story was personal, very, very personal to me. So whichever publishing company I went with, I needed them to make me feel as comfortable as possible. And it wasn't rushed. But sometimes, when you get busy, when you're writing a book, sometimes you get distracted with life because life is still going while you're writing. You're still dealing with day-to-day operations. You're still dealing with bills, work, whatever it is you deal with on a regular basis. And so sometimes, I may get busy with life. So I'm stepping away from publishing to focus on life. And then I may get a little email, a little tap from the publisher. Hey, where are you? We're looking for you. We missed you. Can you let us know where you are if you need any assistance, any help? And so I would encourage people who are looking for a publishing company. I'm not to just find a publishing company that makes them feel comfortable. And what worked for me may be different from what works for you. I needed somebody or a company that could kind of, walk me hand in hand as a first time publisher, and it would make me feel as comfortable as possible. So that's how I found them, just through a Google search and going through different publishing companies until I felt most comfortable with the one. And I wound up going with Palmetto Publishing out of Charleston, South Carolina. And they pretty much guided me through the process, held my hand through the process. And the end process is the book.
And it's a lot. It's a huge task to actually get out there and publish a book. Either you're going to self-publish or you're going to have somebody guide you along the way, because I think at the end of the day, you still have to figure out how you take that book and put it into the hands of somebody who would really benefit from that book, right?
That's right.
That is kind of the magic that I think every author is looking for. I mean, I think that you wrote the book as probably a way just to kind of help you kind of heal, right? Writing is definitely a healing. I know that when I'm going through whatever I'm going through, I write, and that just seeing the words on the page helps me kind of put things in perspective so I can start to maybe make better decisions to, move myself out of that situation. I would imagine as you're writing this book, you're healing at the same time. Am I accurate in that assumption?
You are very correct. I mentioned to someone before that actually writing this book, I felt like was healing a little bit of my inner child or healing a younger Cecily. And then when I was reading the final manuscript, or, as you're going through the manuscript during the final edits, you reading over and over and over again. And so I'm reading at all the things I've been through or that I experienced. And I'm like, I went through all that, you know? And so it almost brought tears to my eyes. Sometimes it does bring tears to my eyes to know that I experienced those things. But it also felt a sense of, but look at me now. I'm still here to tell my story. And if I can push or receive some healing, then hopefully by me sharing my story, that I can help somebody else decide to heal or go and receive some healing as well. And let me be clear, Kelly, I still struggle, which is something I stated in the book. I don't want people to think just because I wrote this book that, oh no, like I'm happy go lucky 100% of the day, 100% of the time, 24/7. Now, I still have days where I struggle, but I just wanted people to know that joy and pain can coexist at the same time. And healing is not a linear process. Healing is up and down. It's not pretty, but writing this book was absolutely therapeutic and healing. And I've had so many people confide in me on the side. Hey, I really appreciate your candid, your vulnerability and your candidness and openness to share your story. And I'm ordering copies for my children, or I'm going to share this with somebody who I know deals with anxiety or depression. And so when I receive comments or notes like that, it makes me feel like my writing wasn't in vain or me sharing my story wasn't in vain. Uh, so people would be surprised to know that by sharing a word with any author, a good comment, a word, and let them know that just makes them feel good to let them know that their writing wasn't in vain.
And it
You'd be
doesn't cost
surprised what
anything.
a
And
kind
it
word
doesn't
can do.
doesn't cost anything either. A
Yes,
consult cost you nothing.
nothing is free.
And I think that there's always you can never go wrong when you are authentic in your story, right? When you are authentic in your journey, when you are real, right? You're showing everything. You put everything on those pages, right? And so it will resonate with somebody, not with all, and it's not supposed to because it's not for everybody, right?
No, it's not.
You
It's
know,
not.
so it will get to those because you're authentic. I truly believe that. I believe when we are authentic in our stories, they are far much easier to share, right? And they get out there and people appreciate you being vulnerable, you putting yourself out there with the sole purpose of helping others. There is no greater calling. I truly believe that. So I think that's why we do what we do. Authors, even when you write fiction, you're still healing somebody. Those words matter to somebody. Somebody needed that story just maybe to distract them for a little while, right? Maybe they just needed to immerse themselves in just a non-real world because their world is just not good right now. So I just truly believe that there's power in our story. So I want to thank you for actually sharing yours. And I think it's always cool when somebody decides to take that leap from, okay, I wrote this journal, right? Wrote all these stuff down, but now I'm going to actually go out there and publish it and put it out there. So congratulations. I am so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So let me give everybody my laundry list of stuff before we go. So you guys, I say this pretty much every single time. If you are an indie author and you want to come share this platform, it's really easy. Go to the website, brightheadedpublishing.com, go to the Be a Guest tab, fill out the information. Boom, you're a guest. I promise you, it is literally that easy. If you are an indie author and you're on your journey and you have questions, you're kind of like, what do I do? Guess what? I've got a guide on my website. It's called So You Want to Write a Book. It's free. Once you enter in your email address, the guide is yours. It's 44 pages. Go get it. And I actually made it into a beautiful ebook. So I'm really excited. It's no longer a PDF. It is really cool. And I created this. So I'm really, really happy with myself about this one, y'all. Two, if you are an author and you're looking for a way to promote your book, guess what? We have a book club. It's called the Indie Reader Society. We don't know about your book if you don't tell us, right? You can join us as a reader. You can pitch us as an author. And lastly, if you want to support me, I have two books out there. They are both fiction. One's called You Sound White. The other one is Wait for It. Wait for It is an audiobook, and you can listen to a snippet on the website. If you want it, I'm happy to ship it to you, but no stress, no pressure. You can get them wherever good books are sold. So Cicely, back to you. You have written this book about depression and not necessarily how to get through it, but knowing that there is light on the other side of the tunnel, right? And so if somebody were going through these, if they were struggling, where would you tell them to start? I think that's probably the most overwhelming thing is what should I do first? Where do I start? How do I begin to heal?
I would tell them first to sit in it for a while. I know some people may not agree with this, but I would say sit in it for a while because you can't heal what you won't face and deal with. Sit in it for a while, but don't stay there. Get up, get up. And it could be starting with as simple as brushing your teeth, washing your face, taking a bath. I know this may sound basic, but when you're in a real depressive state, uh, tasks as something as simple as brushing your teeth, washing your face, or taking a bath is not the easiest thing to do. So I would start by simply those steps. I would also encourage them to eat, go outside, get sunlight, uh, let your feet feel the grass, touch the grass. And then I would also tell them to Google, if they don't have private insurance or insurance, Google uh, therapists through government funded programs where they can find therapists or counselors that they could see and schedule an appointment with this person and talk to this person and tell them how they are feeling. And I would then instruct them from there if they feel like it's not a good fit. Because I talk about in the book as well how sometimes you may have to see one therapist or counselor until the other therapist or counselor you really wanted to see is available. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you're still getting help in the meantime. So if that's the case, stay with that therapist or counselor until the one you really want to see is available. But get help. Google is your best friend. And here's the thing, Kelly, we live in this technological age where everybody's on the phone or computer. Google is right there. All you have to do is Google counselors, therapists. And I know this may seem like uh, simple or easy to do, but sometimes when you're in that episode or you're feeling that way, it may seem like I don't want to do that. And then I would encourage this person or individual to seek out a village. And sometimes your village may be family. It may not be family. It may be friends. Uh, it may be coworkers. I don't know. You know what your village looks like. Your village may look completely different from mine. And you have to let these people know when you're going through or dealing with a situation like this. They have to be sensitive to you and your needs. And then also, I would tell them to establish boundaries. And I discuss triggers and boundaries in the book as well. If you know that certain things trigger your feelings, your mood, or your emotions, stay away from those triggers. Or you have to learn how to deal with them because um, people are not required to step around you and your triggers. And how would they know if you don't voice your feelings or your triggers to other people or you don't let them know, hey, I really have a problem with X, Y, and Z. So I hope some of these things can help individuals. Google, look for government funded therapists or counselors. Or if you have insurance, private insurance, Google a therapist or counselor. Build a village, whether your village is family, friends, coworkers, uh, find hobbies or interests that could help you as well. And then I would also say be aware of your triggers, things that make you feel a certain way. Be aware of what brings you joy, what makes you sad, what makes you happy. And so those would be some of the things I would say to someone who might be struggling.
And then if somebody wanted to get a copy of the book, where can we get it? And how do they connect with you if they want to connect with you?
If someone wanted to get a copy of the book, they could go to Amazon.com, they could go to Walmart.com, they could go to BarnesandNoble.com, they can go to bookshop.org and simply order The Daily Pain, My Journey with Anxiety and Depression Through Faith by Cecily Holland, CeciliHolland. And if they wanted to reach out to me directly, they could email me at dailypainbook@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at dailypainbookch.
Thank you so much for being a part of the Author's Mic. I have enjoyed talking to you. Good luck on the book. All the information, y'all, it will be in the description so that you can connect with her. So I just got one more quick question for you. So you've got this book out there. Are you now a full-fledged author? Are there more books coming? Do you now have the book bug?
So, this is so funny. I had a relative ask me a few weeks ago. She said, so when's book number two coming out? And so I think I would like to write another book now that I think about it. I just have to think about the topic, but after going through what I went through and getting the sense of pride of it's nothing like seeing your published work. You're an author, so you know how it
I
feels
know
when
exactly
you
what you're talking
when
about.
you
Yes.
receive your book in the mail, like, oh my God, like it's so exciting, to receive published work and to see your name on the paper and know that your writing wasn't in vain and to see a complete and finished project is so exciting. So I think I would like to write another book. Absolutely.